Hello and welcome everyone to today's Q&A session on SOAS applications. Before we formally begin, I just want to let you all know that this session is being recorded. So if you are comfortable in being in the recording of the session, you can keep your videos on and you can raise your hand and ask your questions directly to the speakers. But if you aren't comfortable in being in the recording, then please put your questions in chat, or you can send it as a DM to any one of the speakers or to me. I will quickly introduce you to our speakers. Oh, and we just lost one, but I'm sure he'll be back. So we have with us Ashraf, who's doing a master's in South Asian area studies. We have with us Idrish, who did an LLM at SOAS, and we have Aiman, who is doing a master's in gender studies, and we have with us Hina, who's also doing a master's in gender studies. Um, Thank you to all four of you for joining us today and for taking the time out on your weekend to speak to everybody about the applications to study at SOAS. As you all would know, this is a Q&A session, so we don't have any presentation. We will directly begin with questions. So if you have any question, you can raise your hand and ask your question directly, or you can put your questions in chat. Yes. Great. Already we have a raised hand. Yes, Sumi.
Yeah, hi. I am looking forward to apply for this course called as a media practice. Sorry, MA Media and Development, and I don't have my transcripts with me. But I do have my mark sheets. What do I do? Should I upload all the mark sheets when I apply, or just wait for my transcripts to come?
Anyone?
Transcript is always preferred, but you can put an drop an email and send all your mark sheet in one file, saying that these are my mark sheet. And anyway, you will need the transcript, and you'll have to have the transcript, but mark sheet works. That's not a problem. I think my Aiman or Ashraf, or they can also answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's always preferred to have a transcript. And if you apply without a transcript, you might get a conditional offer rather than an unconditional offer. So thereafter, if you get a conditional offer, I think thereafter you can just send them the transcript when you get it.
Okay, so it happened with me as well. I uploaded the like mark sheets, and I just dropped them an email about to the admissions office that I'm waiting for my transcript and I need time. So they had given me this time frame, like within a month or 2 months you can submit as the mark sheet. But I also asked them to extend it a little, and they did. So you can, it depends on the way how you communicate and speak to the university admissions office directly, I imagine,
Yes.
and they will help.
Always good to put an email, I think so.
Also, I emailed them on exemption of application fees. I mean, I attached all the valid documents that I had, that I would not be able to, afford to pay the application cost. They replied back to me with something that did not, was sufficient enough to basically answer the question, because I wanted an exemption, and they were like, there's no way that I can get it. If you have any idea, who do I reach out to for the same thing? Because I reached out to the the admissions team and department as well.
Okay, can you tell us that have you like written something like before? Have you done any work like about uh, in activism or in academics? Anything, any blog, any article, any work you had done before that, before applying to?
I I am working in development sector. I'm working with Tata Steel Foundation right now, and I'm working with the tribal and excluded community, and I belong from the tribal community.
You
from
can write
Jharkhand
to the
itself.
department heads. You will get the emails of the department heads from the SOAS website, and you can ask them for a favor. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. I know about such like two cases where in gender studies, like they did not help, but in development studies they did. And sometimes it also depends on the administration and how the teaching faculty is in good terms or not with the university administration or not. So yeah, these are like some complicated issues,
Yeah.
but sometimes they really help. But do not leave any stone unturned. Yeah,
Yeah, you should just
try emailing,
try
writing to
emailing.
like
Yeah,
your department heads, the
yeah,
desirable department
yeah.
heads.
Your convener, even your course convener for that matter, I'd say.
And I don't know where to get the email address. I
On
mean,
the
I looked
website,
through
you'll
the
find it on the
website.
website, on your course, the course, sorry, the website, and there will be your department page. There will be a specific page where your department is mentioned, and they have all the emails of your convener, of the other staff that you want to reach out to. So please check the website once, the SOAS website.
Okay, I'll do that. Should I mark the admissions team and scholarship team in the same, or should I just leave it to the convener and the
I think
head
you
of the
should
department?
first try to reach out to your course convener, your department, and you see their response, and thereafter you can decide according to the basis of what they have responded to.
Okay, okay. This was helpful. Thank you.
Great. There's two questions in chat. So one is I've applied to two courses. While I received an offer for my first preference course, I haven't heard back from the second one. Does that mean I need to write to them to ask about the second course?
I think can this person tell me did they apply on the same date or they apply on different dates?
Yeah, we'll wait for them to.
So generally, so how SOAS works is they put out the offer
Okay.
every month on a particular date. So if you have applied on the same date, then you might have got both of them, or if there is a difference between the dates, then you have to wait, I guess.
They're saying they applied on the same date, but I'm guessing if these are different departments, then I guess everyone might have like a different timeline. So
Of course, different departments have different timelines.
Misbah, I would like to come in there.
yeah.
Basically, like even I applied for two courses, so I was told that my portfolio was matching with one of them. Moreover, so they have to like check off the other option. Maybe that happened, but it's always better writing up and getting a follow up.
Okay. So did they not tell you that you would not be considered for the second course? Or-
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Like they told me that I'm more, like my portfolio and my undergraduate studies matching more with my one requirement, so they're taking me off the other list.
Okay. Okay. So,
But they kept it optional. They wanted to ask me even like which one I would be comfortable with.
hmm.
So you must be you must hear from the department. You should write to them about it.
Great. The other question is, I intend to apply for an LLM in gender and justice. I missed the deadline to be eligible for Felix scholarships. So are there any other funding options available for me?
So for LLM, I can say one thing that SOAS website has a very comprehensive list of all the scholarships. The major one are Felix. There is one uh, Paul Webley scholarship. I'm forgetting the full name. That is also for gender studies and gender justice studies. Uh, then there are some scholarship which has nothing to do with SOAS. They are like, I'm sure if you might have applied for other scholarship like Shemning
I think
or
there's one scholarship, the SOAS Postgrad International Scholarship, but it's not a full scholarship. There's I think one question about gender studies as well. That is there any other funding available? Unfortunately, no. We don't have department fundings for gender studies at SOAS, but there is this international postgraduate scholarship. It's not.
there is one. It's
Yeah,
called
it's
Paul
not.
Webley.
No.
Also, there are other scholarships. There are like
Yes.
Shevening, Felix, like there are other scholarships,
External, but
external scholarship other than SOAS.
yeah, SOAS I don't think has much options, but there's one which is not, which is a partial scholarship. I think £5,000 is what it is.
Yes.
Also, SOAS in general, it struggles with the government funding, I imagine, as well.
Yeah, so I think there is as Idris mentioned, there's on the SOAS website there's a long list of scholarships that are available for taught masters. I've just put a link to that page where you can find a list of scholarships. Some are external and some are internal. The deadline for a few of them might have already passed. So for Commonwealth, Felix, and Shevening, the deadline has passed. So if you've not applied for them, it's fine. There are more scholarships available, and there'll be a few more external that will open soon, so you can apply for them as well. And just keep looking out. And we're going to be running workshops on more scholarship opportunities. So yeah, just keep a lookout for that as well. Um, There's another question in chat. Can we do a PhD in an entirely different course, like in social science, on a scholarship in foreign university? Like I am currently pursuing masters in library and information science. So just to clarify the question, are you asking if you could do a PhD in a separate course than your masters? Um, Um, if that's the question, then maybe I can quickly take this, which is that you can definitely make a switch from your master's to your PhD, but you need to show why you're making that switch from one subject to another, and whether you possess the required skills that your PhD in social science would need. So just have a look at the website and see what they require. And if you have those skills and you meet those requirements, then you can definitely apply. Sumi, is this hand raised from before, or do you have another question?
I also wanted to check on this thing that I have not yet given IELTS. So, can I get an exemption on that as well, since I have pursued my degree in English and everything? My studies are done in English.
So
If I can prove that from university, if I can get a certificate
It's something
saying that I've
unfortunate,
completed.
but it is a thing with the Western universities that they do ask for IELTS. It's a requirement. They won't.
but I got a waiver for IELTS. I got an unconditional offer at SOAS. I was not asked to submit. I think it's really, with SOAS, it's very, very subjective. Sometimes they ask for it, sometimes they don't. But I would say, even if you want to give IELTS, you can give it later. It's not going to be a hindrance for you to apply to
I
SOAS.
suggest that you should give IELTS because there are very rare cases like Aiman got an exemption.
Yeah.
It's not always the case.
Yeah, it's not always the case. It's always good to have IELTS, but it's not like you will be able to give IELTS later. It's not going to be the deciding factor of your application per se. That's what I feel.
Sometimes
I would
I imagine they do whole year admission, like they will give you conditional
Yeah, you'll
at
get a
offer.
conditional offer
But
if
for
you
the
don't.
unconditional one, most of the times they do ask for IELTS exam.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would come in
Okay.
here.
Fair enough.
There is a section in the SOAS website that tells you that what are the alternate options apart from the all the English language exams. So, for example, I did not write any exam. Instead, I send them that I'm practicing in Indian courts. The official language is English, and they exempted me. So always check those options. They sometimes even ask your school mark sheet that if you have been from so and so board and have secured so and so much marks, then you're also exempted. So just check. That's a very detailed page, and I'm recommending to everyone that everybody must have a proper peruse it properly. It's a very detailed, and a lot of people get exemption if they read it properly.
Can you like share the link of where can I find it if you can help me with that?
I'll check in the meanwhile and just share the link.
Side.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Karnika, Do you
Yeah,
want?
hi. So I had applied for two separate LLM courses, and I got an offer back from one course, and I'm waiting on the other one. Just a small clarification regarding. So let's say the course I got an offer from is the LLM General Law. So let's say I take up that course, and I also fulfill the credits required to get a specialization in international law. Can I get my degree stating that I've secured an LLM in international law if I do the required credits, or will the degree be only in the course in which I've applied for, respective of the credits I pursue?
Maybe Idris would be able to answer that.
Uh, I was just searching for
Yeah,
the
no, I
link. Could you
realize.
please repeat?
Yeah,
Repeat.
I'll just keep it short now. So basically, let's say I'm taking the LLM master, the general law course, and in the due progress of my course, I am taking up credits, which will qualify me to specialize in international law. So, in the fag end of my course, would I get my degree specifically in international law if I choose to, or would it still say general LLM law irrespective of what I take my credits in? If like basically, do I have the choice to shift my the name of the degree that reflects in my certificate at the end of the year?
So in that term, SOAS is very flexible. Even if you join LLM General here, and after coming here and you want to change your modules and you write an application that for so and so reasons, I want to change my module and I want to change from LLM General to LLM International Law, SOAS does consider it. In like I remember one case, there was one student. They in fact changed altogether their course, stating some reasons, and that was actually approved. So
Okay,
it
so
should not be a problem.
sorry for interrupting, but I should make this change before the start of my course, not during or like in due course of my course, right?
During the
Is what.
first or second week, you have to make up your mind.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. That was really helpful. Thank you.
I have also shared the alternate qualification for English test if somebody wants to have a look.
Thank you, Idris. Afreen?
Hi, thank you so much for organizing this. I missed the first few minutes of the meeting, so perhaps this might have been covered earlier. But I applied at SOAS for an MSc in Global Development and I got in. But there are no, I mean, I don't have any funding opportunity from them. Like I haven't heard about any funding opportunities from SOAS yet. All I know is that there are very little funding opportunities, internal funding opportunities at SOAS. So if somebody could speak a little bit about, if there are any specific scholarships that I can target. I have looked at everything that's there on their website. And apart from one or two scholarships that I'm already applying for, which I received a response, the Best Way Foundation scholarship, like anybody from India is eligible for that and they cover tuition. I wrote to them and they responded to me in an email saying that they already have received a lot of requests from people from India, Bangladesh, and other places as well. So they're not taking any more scholarships or scholarship emails from people, like basically considerations. So I just wanted to generally know, are there any scholarships that I can target? Is there any admin body that I can reach out to? Or like I'm looking for a generic general answer per se.
I think, okay, Idris, sure. I think there's only one scholarship that I can see in SOAS. It is called the International Postgraduate Scholarship. If you are talking about internal fundings, this is the only scholarship I see. Other than that, there are external fundings. Okay, so there's one scholarship called the Lady Meherbai D Tata Scholarship, which not a
Okay.
lot of people know about. Even Project EduAccess did a session on it. So you
Okay.
can see that. You can see
Okay.
IMPACT scholarship, perhaps the application process. I'm not sure if it has started, but in lakhs you can see.
Started yet, I think.
You can check their website once. You can definitely target Lady Meherbai D Tata scholarship. You
Okay,
can
I didn't know
target
about this. I'll definitely have a look at this.
yes, please do have a look at it, and specifically for women. So the
Okay.
Lady Meherbai D Tata scholarship, it's specifically for women, and I made it to the
Definitely check
final
that.
round of it. Yeah. And then there is, you can also check the International Postgraduate Scholarship. It is on the SOAS website.
For sure.
And I think right now I can only think of fundings which are more exogenous and
Okay.
not internal, because very honestly, there are very few options available for internal.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from people as well, and especially at
Yes.
SOAS,
Yeah.
like they're a little tight on funding.
Yeah.
So
But you should definitely check out the international
I will, I
postgraduate
will for
scholarship.
sure. I didn't know about the Lady Meherbai at SOAS
Lady
for sure.
Meherbai D Tata. No, it's not. It's an exogenous funding. Uh,
Okay,
yeah, it's called the Lady Meherbai D Tata Scholarship. It's from the
okay,
Tata Group, so you can check
okay.
that out as well.
Will do, will do. Thank you so much, Aimana.
Thank you.
And I would like to add in that there are a lot of scholarships from India, depending from which state you are from. Most of the states have their own scholarship for foreign educations. It's not
Okay,
highly publicized. I would recommend to actually check with your Department of Higher Education. I know, for
okay,
example, one or two states, for example, Rajasthan has a scholarship. They cover the entire funding. There is one with Telangana. They take care of your uh, uh, tuition fees and all. So I would highly recommend, because they are not highly publicized and they go through a lot of bureaucratic hurdles. So every state actually, they must check with their departments.
okay. I will do that as well, Idris. Thank you.
Um, Ashraf, did you want to add something to that?
Is the voice lagging for everybody or just me?
Yeah, Ashraf, can't hear you. No.
I've put it in the chat anyway.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So Ashraf has put the name of another scholarship, I'm guessing. VP Kanetkar Memorial Scholarship. That's also available at SOAS. Um, but I guess it's a little specific to which master's program. But development studies is the MSc in development studies is covered under that. So
All right, I'll
want
definitely put
to check.
this for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Misbah. Thank you, Ashraf.
I've put that in chat as well. So I see that there's like this has triggered a bunch of questions on scholarships. So as everyone has said, I'm just gonna do a quick summary. SOAS doesn't have a lot of internal scholarship opportunities, unfortunately. Their masters, their scholarships, page on their website does provide a comprehensive list of all of the scholarships that they have internally, as well as external scholarships for which you can apply if you've received an offer at SOAS. I've already put a link to that in chat. So you can have a look at that. But even otherwise, if you just Google Master Scholarship SOAS, you will get the first link is probably going to be of that. Um, each of those internal scholarships will be very specific. So please have a look at whether your course is eligible for it or whether your background falls under the requirement of the scholarship. So, for example, Ashraf sent the link, sent information about the VP Kanetkar Memorial Scholarship. So it provides a list of 5 courses that are eligible for it, 6 courses. But again, it says that supports postgraduate studies that are specific to religious studies. So again, you'll have to see whether you are eligible for that scholarship or not. There aren't going to be any, we won't be able to tell you whether there is a scholarship for your course specifically, because you will have to look at that on your own through the scholarship portal on SOAS. But yeah, for all of the general scholarships, you can see um, whether you're eligible or not. I'm also going to send a link to our resources page, which is this includes a bunch of workshops that we've already done on various scholarship opportunities. The applications for some of them might not have opened. So, for example, Lady Meherbai, in Lax, Debesh Kamal, all of these are yet to open their application since they require students to have an offer. Then I've also sent a link to our YouTube channel, which is where we have uploaded workshops on different scholarship opportunities that may not be covered in the resources page. So again, if you have a look at both of
Just
these,
like to say one thing, that please do check the websites because it has a detailed description of everything. So yeah, it's for everybody. Like please do check the websites properly. It has everything there.
yes, and yeah, the websites are your best guides, honestly. Um, so I'm gonna go back to our questions. So there's a question, will attaching a letter from my university that my last course was in English instead of attaching my other exam results, such as IELTS or TOEFL, work for an English language test waiver, I'm guessing. Any thoughts, anyone? Um, yeah, Emma, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, can you please repeat the question
Yes.
once?
Basically, they're asking if their university their university degree
Yes.
or a letter from the university that states that their degree was in English is sufficient to replace the IELTS or TOEFL requirement.
Yeah, so again, SOAS is very unpredictable in this. Sometimes it really varies from department to department. Some departments accept it and some don't. So if you apply, if you try with this, whatever letter you're talking about, maybe they will accept it, but they might still ask for IELTS. This is what I have come across here. Yes. So you can try, but they might ask for an IELTS anyway. It really depends from your department to department. Yeah.
Also check with the alternate qualification, you might cover one of those.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess push taking the test for as long as possible and really try to get a waiver. And if they just don't budge, then you can take the test. And if you have a conditional offer, then
Yes.
you'll be able to take it. So another question that's come in my DM is if we have a gap year, um, because we were preparing for UPSC or other things that can't really be added in a CV, how do we mention that and how do we address it when we're applying to SOAS?
Well, to be very honest, preparing for UPC is something that you can always write in a better way, that you spend some good time in learning all those modules which were part of the UPC. This is something I have heard from the people who have spent good time in preparing UPSC, and then they applied for different courses or different things. So one doesn't need to think in this way that that was just a, that the other person will understand it was just a waste of your and you were now employed and you did not do anything. So you can always write that, and it's not considered in a very negative way.
All right, thank you for that. Karnika, is that a hand raised from before? Do you have another question? Okay. Hamza, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, hi, thank you. So I was looking for anybody to tell me I want to apply to the Global Media and Digital Communication course at SOAS, and I just had a doubt of what they look for in your portfolio because I have worked in the industry as well, and I worked with visual communication before, but my work is very corporate related, like and I just want to get an idea of what they look for when they are picking people. Are they looking for people who create more personal work, or like what they're looking for? And I would also like to know that if somebody doesn't secure a scholarship, is it worth taking a loan out? Or have any of you ever thought of taking a loan out? And is that a good option to look at?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm just like fearful whether my network is fine. and the person can hear me well.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So as far as the portfolio is concerned, particularly for media, there's no hard and fast rule in SOAS. Like I have seen people who are working in corporate sector took up media and they were very much satisfied. I also had a module on, I was mainly into linguistic and international politics, but I had a module on media, and there wasn't any hard and fast requirement in terms of what do you do. If you bring in an experience, that's always a plus point. But trust me, none of it counts in terms of how you're performing or your specialization. It's all about how you engage with the modules and the course. And coming back to the later part of your question about the loans, like I am myself in a partial loan, and I wouldn't say that the experience was bad. In fact, like whatever SOAS had to contribute, particularly UK Academia, that was worth it. But yeah, considering the visa regulations and everything, there's not going to be any like work supplement in the coming future. Take all of that into consideration before you make up your mind. But otherwise, if just your academic persuasion is your objective, I guess that's worth the risk.
Thanks, Ashraf.
Anyone else want to add anything to that? Should we? Yeah. Okay, got a bunch of questions to get through. So there was a question on INLAG scholarship. I've put a link to the workshop that we did on the INLAG scholarship last year. You can have a look at that workshop if you want to familiarize yourself with the scholarship application process. The applications have not opened for this year yet. They're going to open in February sometime. We don't know when, but you can keep looking on the website, and we will definitely do a workshop on the scholarship again. So keep a lookout on our social media to find information about when we do it. But for now, if you just want to get a sense of what it's about, I've already put a link to the scholarship. You can see that in chat. Then again, there are a few questions on scholarships. Again, we've addressed them before. Um, uh, so please have a look at the website and other resources that have been mentioned. So there's a question. I have a bachelor's degree in social work and 6 years of experience working in development sector. If I want to study a master's in gender studies, what can I do and how can I get a scholarship? I think we can not talk about the scholarship because we've already spoken about that a lot, but maybe Aiman, and if Hina's around, maybe you can take the question on the gender studies requirement.
Uh, are you talking like, are you asking about your the portfolio, like what you need? I think there is no specific answer to this question. I think gender, when you like, to be honest, work experience is always welcomed in gender studies. If you have work experience, that really helps. If you're talking about the application process, I would say your SOP is one of the most important parts of your application, where you can directly communicate and talk about your objectives and what you want to pursue. And also, you have to be specific about what course in gender you want to pursue at SOAS. We have so many specializations. We have MA Gender Studies, we have MA Gender and Law, we have MA Gender Middle East pathway. We have so many options in gender. So you have to choose your course. And I think about the portfolio, I think a good CV would work well. And you are saying that you have a work experience of 5 years, I'm assuming. I think that is I think more than enough. I applied to SOAS. I just graduated and I applied to SOAS. So they're very open about it. And they always say that work experience is always welcomed. So I think it's going to be fine. But I would just say work on your SOP really well, because that's what they really emphasize upon. They really emphasize on your SOP and what your academic persuasions are. So yeah, I think that's enough. Yeah. If
Okay,
that's anything else that they want to ask.
yeah, I'd also just add to that to say that as long as you're able to demonstrate through your SOP and CV that you have an interest and passion for gender studies and that you've done work on it, then I guess that's sufficient. So even if you have 6 years of work experience or you're right out of undergrad, as long as you're able to show that you've been consistently interested in this academic field, I think that should be enough. Ilham, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, hi, am I audible? Thank you so much for this session. I wanted to put out this query that I received an offer letter last week from SOAS, and I also then applied for a waiver and got. I met the conditions. They said that not my degree qualification, but my 12th standard certificate would do good, and then I met that condition too. But for a CAS, they are expecting for me to graduate before September, and I will hopefully do that. But I was confused that when I'll be graduating in June, so basically I would be able to get the transcripts and a solid evidence of my graduation by July, most probably by July or August. And they also demanded they demand this qualification to be completed by 31st August, which I hope that will get completed. So after that, they will be drafting us. They will be giving us cash for applying for a visa. So I'm confused whether it would be an appropriate time a period for the visa process to happen. Would that take longer time because they started in September? So normally, what time do they take in visa process and all? Hope I am able to.
Ilham, which college are you in?
I am in Jamia Millia Islamia at the moment.
So I'll tell you one thing. There is a procedure called confidential result. So the moment you
What
finish
is
your
it?
exam, you can always write to the controller of examination to get your result quickly. Like it will be you will be given the result before the it will be published. It will be in confidential way, so you will get the result way before it is published. You will also get your
Is it
transcript.
called?
Number
Please,
one.
can you please repeat the name, sir?
I'm saying that you need to write an application to the controller of examination.
No, no. What is it? The title that you gave it.
It's called confidential result.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. It was not clear
Yeah,
at that.
you just need to show them your urgency. If you show them you have a conditional offer and you need the result to get your visa process and everything done, they will give you it. It should not be a problem.
Okay. Thank you so much for this clarification. Thank you.
Great, and congratulations on your offer, Ilham. So there's another question on the English language waiver. I am putting a link to what Idris has already put in chat, but in case you can't see it, this gives information about alternative qualifications that SOAS does take for English language. So have a look at that and see if any of this is applicable to you. And also when you're if none of these work and if you just want to write to them, then a simple email is sufficient, asking them that, is if my degree is in English and XYZ, then can I get a waiver? If you are able to get a letter from your university that says this, that also might be helpful. That sort of says that your degree has been in English all 3 years. um, um okay, so the other question in chat is, if we're applying for a second master's degree, how shall we come about it in our personal statement? I think this is a common question because this came up to us otherwise as well. There are people who that when you're applying for 2 degrees, I think you can only submit one SOP. Ashraf, maybe you know more since you mentioned that you applied to two. Is that correct? And if yes, then how does one go about writing their SOP?
It is subjective, Misbah. You can submit even two SOPs. There's nothing hard and fast. But yeah, in my case, they asked me just for one because I got in touch with the admission team before I applied. So they said that you can just reflect on, a common, because both of my courses were somewhere related. One was from the linguistic department, one was from the politics. But yeah, the common midway was South Asia. But yeah, they consider it both. However, like if you want to have a very specialized application for both, I would recommend single SOPs for per course.
Does anyone else have anything to add? Okay. Idris has a question for you. I think you've answered this in chat, but just for the benefit of those who might be watching the recording. So I'll just read the question out. I've applied for Chevening and selected a course from SOAS, which was later removed from the SOAS website. Now I'd like to apply for another course, that is the MSc in Humanitarianism, Aid and Conflict. As the Chevening application is already submitted, can I still use the Chevening scholarship to apply for a new course at SOAS? So that's the first question. Second, I have published news stories and academic papers in English. I've sent a waiver for IELTS. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, so one thing about Chevening, I have already replied in the chat, but I'm clarifying. So, if you're called for the interview, you can always tell them that I want to change my course or university. They do entertain such applications or requests, and it's perfectly fine. And since the university has removed the program, it's none of your fault. So you can always tell them. Uh, in fact, they actually ask you in your interview, would you like to change your course or university or something? So you can answer that. About second, you can always use your articles, because I used my Supreme Court judgments saying that I have few reported judgments in my name. I have argued those cases in English because the constitutional language for language for the constitutional code is English. So they did entertain my request to waive the to exempt me from the English language requirement. So you can always give it a try. Whenever you write an email about it, I'm just clarifying more about this whole English exemption. Whenever you're writing an email, write a very detailed email, give all the evidence, give them PDFs, give them links, give them all your certificates. So for example, school certificate is valid in the alternate qualification, so give them all together in one go, so that you don't have to wait or they don't have to ask you collateral questions.
Okay. Mm, The other question is, I have a conditional offer which does not require any English proficiency test. Do I still have to take it? No, you don't. Right? Yeah. Okay, I think this is the last question. If there are any, what I'm going to read out is going to be the last question, but if there are any other questions that were sent in chat and I missed reading out, please put them in chat again, or you can raise your hand and ask your question. We still have a few minutes, so we can take a few more questions. But if not, then this will be the last question, which is in the SOAS application portal, they mentioned that reference letters are only for research degrees. So is it preferable to upload LORs for taught programs?
No, they don't require it. It's only for the research articles. Yeah, not preferable.
Okay. Um, Great. I think that's it. I don't see any questions that came to me in chat. There were a few questions again that related to scholarship opportunities for specific programs. And as I said, we've already sent a bunch of links that might be helpful for you to look at for your scholarship opportunities. We won't be able to tell you very specifically all of the scholarship opportunities available for you for your specific program. Um, so yeah, Sumi.
Sorry, I couldn't understand the last part of on the LORs. Is it for the taught masters? Is it required for the taught masters?
No, it's not required for the taught masters. You don't have to upload, they don't require LORs. So even in when you upload your application, when you put your CV, when you put your SOP, there will be mentioned that LOR is not required. So you don't have to submit an LOR.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So that's another question. The application portal, can we just upload one SOP if we're applying for second course? Where do we upload it?
Not up-
Ashraf.
Sorry, I guess. Yeah. I mean, like, you can simultaneously apply at both the course portals. And if you have got in touch with the master's team, admission team, like I did, so you can send one and they'll consider.
Do you mean send it via email?
No, like you need to apply to one of the course and keep them like copied, posted basically. that I have applied for both, and your SOP has to like refer to both the courses you are willing to apply.
Mhm.
But this has to keep the admission team in loop.
And if they intend to upload two SOPs, where does that where does a person do it? So someone's mentioned that there's a section called supporting documents where you can upload the second SOP. So I guess if Ashraf is able to hear us.
Yeah, I'm very much able to hear
Okay.
you. Yeah.
So would you recommend uploading it on the in the section called supporting documents, the second SOP?
Yeah, that is anyway option, but like even I was recommended to go for one SOP until and unless I don't have very different briefing about the other course.
Okay. Okay. I guess then it's a subjective decision depending on what you want to highlight in your application. If you do want to showcase, if those courses are related and there's not much difference in your motivations, then I guess one SOP should be sufficient. But if you want to make it very specific to each of the two courses that you're applying to, then you can upload two. And as Ashraf mentioned, keep the admissions team in the loop so they know that you've applied for two. And one of the documents in the supporting documents section is an SOP for another program. So the admissions committee is also aware of that. Um, okay, great. I think that's about it. I think, yeah, we've answered all of the questions. I don't see any more questions and any raised hands. So with that, we can end the session. Before I end and thank our speakers, I'm just going to put a few links for all of you. So the first is the link to our YouTube channel. This is where we've uploaded all of the recordings of our workshops that we've done this academic year, which is from September to till up until now. So please have a look at that if you want to get a sense of how to write your application documents, how to make PhD applications, and workshops on different scholarship opportunities. We've and a recording of this workshop will also be uploaded on that channel. We conducted a bunch of workshops last year, and some of them don't have their applications opened yet. So if you want to get a sense of what all scholarships will still be available for you, you can have a look at our resources from online workshops page on our website. We've also developed very comprehensive guides on writing your application documents. So your CV, your SOP, your personal statement, your PhD applications, your research proposal. So you can have a look at that if you're still struggling to write any of your application documents. And if you are not a mentee with us and if you have any questions about your application, then you can reach out to us at info@projecteduaccess.com. All of this information is in the chat if you want to know where to go. And for the question that, okay, great, at least I answered it.
I don't mind if somebody emails me regarding any query regarding SOAS, they can email me.
Okay, great. Idrish,
Okay, I want to just say that regarding the scholarships, regarding the Shivling scholarship, and for the admission criteria and SOPs concerning gender studies department and the essay questions for the Shivling scholarship, anybody can reach out to me as well. Even will share my email. Thank you.
okay, great. Idrish has shared his email ID. Perhaps, Aiman, could you share Hina's email ID?
Thank you, Misbah, for having me today.
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say in the meantime, I'll just thank all of you.
No, I'm
Yeah, so Idris, Ashraf, Aiman, and Hina, thank you so much for taking the time out and for joining us today and for being so patient with all of the questions that came up. Um, and
I've shared the email
yeah,
just.
okay, great. So Aiman shared Hina's email ID and Idris. has shared his. So if you have any questions, very specific questions, you can reach out to them. Otherwise, you can always reach out to us at Project EduAccess. And thank you everyone for joining us, and all the best with your applications. And once again, thank you, Hina, Aiman, Ashraf, and Idrish. Thank you, and hope
Shukriya.
you have a nice rest of your weekend.
You too.
Bye.
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 Bye.